Here are 5 reasons you don't see results from your violin practice. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Megan. I'm a violinist and teacher currently based in New Jersey. I've been playing the violin for over 20 years. I have my bachelor's and master's degrees in violin performance, and I'm a Suzuki trained teacher. If you're enjoying my videos, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel and check out my new and improved self-paced comprehensive learning program, Learn Violin Online, which is always linked in the description. In addition to step-by-step tutorials and advice, you get direct access to me to be your violin coach and cheerleader. You're a busy human, and you don't just have hours upon end every day to spend practicing your violin. The time that you do get to spend with the violin is precious, and you want to make sure that you're seeing results. In my teaching experience, one of the most contributing factors to adults giving up their violin dreams is feeling like they're not making progress. So be sure you're not doing any of these 5 things in your violin practice to maximize your results. Mistake number 1 is that you're not correctly identifying the problem. So an example of this would be to play and not quite liking what you're hearing, but not being sure why. With beginners, I feel like the root of this, of not correctly identifying the problem, is just not being experienced enough to know what all of the possible problems could be. This is why it's really important to have a teacher or some guidance who can tell you exactly what you're doing wrong, because you're probably not going to be able to figure it out by yourself. When you get into the more advanced stages of playing, this definitely gets tougher because you know potentially most of the things that could be going wrong, but you can't pick which one it is. In this case, it's a little bit easier because since you have all those tools, you can try them out and you'll probably eventually land on the right thing to do. Let's say you're having a problem in the passage and you really think it's your bowing and you spend so much time working on your bowing, and it's just not getting better, you're gonna feel frustrated and you're gonna wanna give up. But if you knew that your bowing was actually fine and it was something funky you were doing with your left hand, you'd be able to solve the problem much more quickly and therefore get better, aka see progress. Practice mistake number 2 is not using the correct practice techniques to correct the problem. Identifying the problem correctly is really only the first step. After you've identified the problem, you need to use the correct methods to fix that problem. Intonation, rhythm, speed, timing all have their own specific ways that they need to be practiced. For example, if you're working on intonation, you're probably not going to want to practice with the metronome because that doesn't really help you with your intonation. That will help you with your timing, with your rhythm. It's very frustrating to feel like you know what's wrong and you feel like you're working on it, but it's just not getting better. And if that's the case, you're probably not using the right practice technique. When you join Learn Violin Online, on the very first pinned post that you'll see on the community page, I've also included some LVO resources, which includes a document of different technical elements such as the ones I mentioned, shifting, vibrato, and numerous different ways to practice them. There's over 50 practice techniques included. So when you join LVO, you'll never have this problem. And if you do, you can just ask me to help you solve it. Practice mistake number 3 is that you only practice what you're good at. Now, this is a very easy trap to fall into and one that I have definitely fallen into myself. But the point of practice is to get better. The point of practice is to sound bad at first. If you're always practicing what you already are great at, you're not gonna make any progress. And listen, I get it, it's no fun to sound bad. Nobody likes to hear really weird sounds coming out of their violin. But the truth is that is the only way that you're gonna get better. Practicing what you're bad at will make it better. The 4th practice mistake is that you are not consistent. When you're practicing, you are building up your muscle memory. And the unfortunate thing with muscle memory is that if you don't use it, you lose it. So every, honestly, day that you're not practicing, your muscle memory is decreasing. So you need to try your best to be consistent. I always say it's better to practice for 30 minutes every day than an hour every other day. It's better to practice for less time, more consistently. That will give you better results. I remember when I was going off to college, my teacher at the time, Frank Huang, told me, okay, now Megan, don't just cram all of your practice in one day. Practice a little bit every day throughout the week. And spoiler alert, I didn't listen. But it's even on days when I practice like 8, 10, 12 hours, I would never sound as good as if I had spread that out over more days more consistently. Special bonus tip, if you have trouble with consistent practice, your best bet is going to be scheduling practice into your day. I use like an old-fashioned pen and paper calendar, but if you use like GCal, just schedule your practice in and just get it done like any other task. And practice mistake number 5 is not being mentally there. Now this could be a number of different things. It could mean that you're just going through the motions, right? You're not really like engaged in practicing, which, let's be honest, happens every now and then. We're human, we get tired, we have other things on our mind. But if it's happening more often than not, you're not making progress. Practice is definitely a mental game. You need to be constantly analyzing, constantly trying things out, recognizing what does and doesn't work for you, and implementing feedback. 99% of the time when you pick up your violin, you're just going through the motions and just practicing with not really thinking about it, not really hearing yourself, not really analyzing your sound, then you're not going to make progress. Let me know in the comments which one of these that you are guilty of and your plan to correct it. I really appreciate you watching my channel. Please, please, please make sure you're subscribed. It would really help me. And I'll see you in the next video.